the standard form for a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is all equal to 0.
The reason we set a quadratic equation equal to 0 is so that we can solve for x and find out where the parabola crosses the x-axis, if it crosses the x-axis. So to solve this problem, the first thing I'm going to do is factor it, which factors out to x plus 1 times x plus 1, set equal to 0. And then what we do is we substitute a number for x that would make one of these separate binomials equal to 0. In this case, it would be -1 for both. So -1 equals x. And that's why we set it equal to 0, so we can isolate x on one side and find out what it is equal to.
Completing the square is a good method when you cannot factor something and you are looking for the zeros, which I will show you how to get right now. So I have f of x equals x squared plus 8x plus 1, and f of x is equal to 0. So you can set x squared plus 8x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, so you get that. Then the next step you do is you subtract 1 from each side. So you get x squared plus 8x plus a box, because you don't know what's going to be there anymore, equals -1 plus another box. Then the next thing you do is you take half of this and then you square that. So you take half of b and square that. So you end up getting 16 for that. So next you go x squared plus 8x plus 16 is equal to -1 minus 16, or plus 16. Excuse me. Then you get x squared plus 8x plus 16 is equal to 15. Then you can factor that, so you get x plus 4 squared is equal to 15. The next thing you want to do is you want to take the square root of both sides. So you do the square root of x plus 4 squared equals the square root of 15. Then you end up with x plus 4 equals the square root of 15. After this, you subtract 4 from each side, so you get x is equal to 4 plus or minus 15, or -4 plus or minus the square root of 15. And this is your 0. Go.
So we're going to be using the vertex form to solve, graph this equation and find the x and y intercepts and the vertex. So the vertex form is a times x minus h squared plus k equals y. So in this, the h and the k is the vertex. In our sample problem, h and k are already given to us, so we take the opposite of 1, which is -1, and then we take 5, so 5, then that is equal to the vertex. Now what we gotta do is we have to find the x-intercepts. We have to find the y-intercept, which what we do is we set x equal to 0 and then solve out to see what y equals. So say x equals 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1, so 3 times 1 is 3, plus 5 equals 0, so, 0 is y for right now. So y is equal to 8. Now to find x, we take the 8 and plug it back into the equation and solve for x. So do this right now. What we're going to do is we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. So that's 1. Now we're going to divide by 3. Squared equals 1. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the square root of x plus 1 squared and 1. So now that we have this, we're going to go x plus 1 is equal to 1, because the square root of 1 is 1, so x plus 1 is equal to 1. X is equal to 0. That's our x-intercept that intercepts at 0, 0. Or just 0 on the y-axis. Now that we have this, we can graph it. We have the vertex, which is -1, 5, so it's going to -1 up 5, so say it's -1, 5. We know that it is going to open upwards because our A is positive, so up like that. Our y is 8, so right here we can just go 0, 8. It's our y-intercept, and our x-intercept is there is no x-intercept because it is above the it is above the x-axis. And that is how you use the vertex form. Now we're going to graph a problem using the standard form. So we're going to use the problem x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals 0. 0. Now to factor this one out, we're going to take some multiples of 5 that add up to -6. We're going to take -1 and -5 because that adds up to -6. So x minus 5 and x minus 1 equals 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set x in each binomial. We're going to set x equal to whatever will make one of these equal to 0. In this problem, that would be 5 because 5 minus 5 equals 0. So x equal to 5. And also for this problem, the same would be true for x equals 1 because 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 times that is 0. So x equals 5 and 1. Now we're gonna plot those points. So x equals 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. X equals 5 and x equals 1. Now from here we're going to do a quick sketch, and since I know that our a, which is 1 because there's no number there, so it's 1x. 1 is positive, so we know that our parabola is going to be going up. So doing a quick sketch parabola. Sorry, missed it. And that is how you do a quick sketch of a parabola using the standard form.
So, if the quadratic equation has imaginary roots, the graph will not cross the x-axis, such as this one right here. And it will probably be something, I'm guessing, around that. And then, if the vertex point is at an x value of 0, it will only cross the x-axis once. So that will be something like this. If the equation has 2 real roots, it will cross the x-axis twice, just like this example right here.